Honeys, welcome back to TMI, your very own podcast. It isn't a podcast with your host, Imogen Horton. No one cares, no one cares. I'm just hyping it up for myself. I'm sat in the car while it's raining. I actually had my hair looking really nice and then I ran out into the rain and it was just like... So hello, I've got my own microphone today because I thought this one was cuter than the little one that looked very odd and could be compared to a lot of other things. Please don't think I'm rude. I've got a smoothie in the car with me today. Please don't think I'm rude. Spencer just made it for me. So he was like, take this with you. I was like... You're the best. I love you. So today, for anyone that isn't a mum, this is probably going to be quite boring. So I'm probably not going to get many people watching it. But for the mums out there that want to know all about Oriavella's sleep, Renalia, everything to do with sleep and how my baby sleeps through the night, then please keep watching, keep listening. I don't think anyone's listening. I've got loads of questions written down on my phone. I'm just going to talk. I never edit these podcasts. I just literally talk. So yeah, hopefully it's all good and you're enjoying it. So basically the other day I shared on Instagram a photo of, it was a question and answer thing that I was doing. And someone asked me about Oriavella's 7-month routine. So she's 7 months and like a week. She's 7 months and a week, not 7 months in a week. And I shared her daily routine. So firstly, I'll tell you her daily routine. So she's up at 7, sometimes 6:30. She will have her first feed, obviously, when she wakes up. Then she will have breakfast about 45 minutes after she's woken up. She'll have a feed and then she'll just love her life and have some independent play and then play with Renalia. Because Renalia will just be entertaining her as per usual. Like this morning, they were both dressed up in Disney dresses, even though she's 7 months old. But Renalia said that she had to be Belle and Renalia wanted to be Rapunzel. So that's where they were and that's what they were doing. So then she will have her breakfast, which is normally porridge or some yogurt with some defrosted berries, just from frozen berries, or eggy bread Spencer made her the other day, just things like that. And then she will have another feed. Then she will go to sleep at 9:30. She will do a 30-minute nap. Then we will wake her up at 10 o'clock. Then we wake her up from that nap. It used to be 45 minutes to an hour. It used to be like 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, but it's changed. And then 10 till 12. So 10 o'clock when she wakes up, she'll have a feed. Then she'll have normally lunch at 11 o'clock. But sometimes, let's say we're out and about, like I have a schedule, but I have a rough schedule because we have to make it work. We have another child, like, you know, and also we work from home. Things move at different paces every day. So, you know, it's not going to be the same every day. So sometimes at 11 o'clock, if we're out and about, she'll have a snack. Or she mainly eats lunch. So just now she had like a tuna and cheese toasty thing. With some handheld cucumber, the sandwich. She'll have little quesadillas or she'll have leftovers from the night before. And then she'll have another feed and then she'll go down to sleep at 12:30. Then she will have a 2-hour nap. Sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes she'll only do like an hour there. She won't do 2 hours. And then what we do is we give her a power nap at 4:30 for half an hour and then it sees her through to 7 o'clock. So let's say she woke up at 1:30. We give her like 20 minutes to settle herself. We literally, 20 minutes, she will just be sort of babbling away to herself. If she was starting to cry and be really upset, obviously I would never leave her for 20 minutes. But she actually just sometimes goes off. So sometimes she'll wake up for 20 minutes and then go back to sleep. And she's not distressed, she's just babbling. She's in sometimes a little bit of a REM sleep, then she'll sort of roll over, she'll move around the crib, and then she might get a bit agitated. But the minute I go in, she's up, she's like, no. But sometimes because at the moment she's getting up on a little, we do have to go in and sort of move her because she's a bit distressed. So then 2:30 she'll normally wake up and she will sleep like that in a pram. If we are in the pram, she will guaranteed wake up after one sleep cycle. So one sleep cycle is like 45 minutes to an hour. By the way, I'm just letting you know before we start this, I should have said this before, I'm no sleep expert at all. I'm going to go into these questions, by the way, so I should have shared this at the beginning. I'm going to be doing, did you sleep train? Do you feed her to sleep? How often does she wake in the night? How has breastfeeding changed since introducing solids? Did she take food straight away? Does she always feed after breakfast? Will you drop this? Talking about bottles, all the tips, and how do you self-settle? So this is just from one mum who has a 2.5-year-old and a 7-month-old. My 2.5-year-old was not Oriavella. I'm just going to put it out there before we start this. Some babies sleep. I genuinely believe it, and some babies just don't. I think you get a sleeper no matter how much you try, and sometimes you just don't get a sleeper. Going to be completely honest with you. But just going back to the routine, 2:30 she'll wake up. And yes, like I just said, she will wake throughout on a nap in the pram. But what we do is, again, we'll just keep walking her. She might make a little like, wah, wah, but it won't be anything of distress. It'll just be like, I want to go back to sleep. And then I'll rock her for about 10 minutes in the pram and she will go back to sleep. She doesn't really care for white noise. She doesn't have it sometimes and she does have it. It's easier at night to have it because Renalia wakes up. So Renalia keeps her up sometimes. And then she will have a snack at like 3. She'll have a feed at 2:30, have a snack at like 3-ish. And then we normally eat dinner like 4:30 to 5. But before, she would have a sleep at 4:30 till 5. Then it got smaller to 4:45 till 5. And now she doesn't do that. And she goes down to bed at 6:30. So again, throughout the daytime, she'll have like independent play, but also I'll play with her. And then we all eat dinner together. It's a bit difficult at the moment because Oriavella obviously has baby-led, we do baby-led weaning with her. So she'll have our food, her version. And then like we're doing the whole how to wean your baby. We're just having meals from there because it's so much easier, and then me and Spencer add salt to ours. Renalia is going through a bit of a fussy toddler stage, so she will have a different meal. Although now seeing her sister eat, she wants to try some bits as well. And then yeah, she goes down at 6:30. And I will tell you all about self-settling and night wakes and all those different things. So let's get into the questions. Did you sleep train? So with Renalia, we've never sleep trained. We've never done cry out. It's never been the cry out method. I couldn't do it. To all the women out there who do it, honey, I'm not coming for you. I don't resent that. I don't think it's bad. It's your baby, your child. I am not judging anyone. I just want to put it out there. I feel as though whatever you say with sleep, with babies, it's just a funny thing being a mum, isn't it? I think other people want to project their own things onto you. This is just me telling you our story. Do with it what you will. If you want to sleep train, sleep train. We deserve to sleep. Do whatever you want to do. I, myself, cannot do cry out. I cannot do screaming. I cannot do that. I can do a tiny bit of, I'm upset, but I'm tired. I cannot do crying and needing their parent. I can't do it. I can't. So with Renalia, we had a lot of help with sleeping bunnies. She actually ended up sleeping from 11.5 months. And then obviously she got really unwell when she was 13 months and then was on steroids for so long. And she had this roid rage and there was absolutely no way we were getting any sleep. But yes, in that period of time, from 11 months, she would do without all the steroids and when she was in hospital and stuff. But when we were at home, she did 7 p.m. until 6 a.m. No wake ups from 11 months. But before that, let me tell you, my girl, there was just... Some days she'd do like a 2-hour nap. Sometimes she wouldn't. She was constantly waking throughout the night. I was feeding her to sleep every single time. So basically, I say this in my head, but I don't think it's the truth. I think if I'd had more structure with Renalia from the beginning, would she sleep? I'm going to be completely honest with you. Renalia has my brain, without a doubt. She has this wire in her and she has this box that doesn't turn off. I see it. I see the cogs turning 24/7. Even now as a toddler, like we're really getting there. Like 2 nights ago, we got no nap. She's dropped the nap. 6:30 p.m. No, she went to bed at 7. I got her in bed at 6. Then she was like, oh, I'm not really up for this. I was like, okay, come out. Like, you're not going to sleep. There's no point in finding this. 7 p.m, no nap. She'd been at nursery, so she was a bit more like active. And then woke up at 6:30, no wakes. And I'm doing this really crazy thing, I'm just saying, to any toddler mum who wants some, this is the only thing that I feel like is helping us as well. I've got this red light which blocks, I can link it, but it basically is, it helps them not be scared of the dark because this is the age where they kind of get fearful of the dark and they understand more things. And then it also doesn't make it too bright in the room. So she does like that. I've turned the white noise back on. We tried Disney lullabies, we tried silence. She's just definitely gone through a massive regression. I know that. It's this dropping of the nap. If she did nap, even if it was half an hour in the day, wow, she would go to bed at like 9, wake up at 5. Fact. And no matter what time we've put bedtimes, if we've made it early, if we've made it later, no way. And she would wake throughout the night. She does wake, like last night, she did 7 p.m. until 6:30, 6 o'clock this morning, but she did wake up at 1:30 and 3, 11:30 and 3, I think it was. I can't remember if it was 1 or 11. I was so tired. 11:30 or 1:30 and then 3 o'clock. But what I'm doing is this thing where Spencer did it last night, because obviously I went to sleep at 3:30 something, and I was like, can you do it? We set an alarm an hour before she's meant to wake up, and we go in and we rouse her. It was a thing I found on the internet. It's called Rouse to Wake. So she was waking bang on every day, 5 a.m. 5 a.m. and 5:30, 6 I can tolerate. 5 o'clock, it's so different. So just before that, we'd go in and I'd set an alarm and it would go off, the vibrate under my bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I would go in and I would literally just like put the cover on her or like touch her hair, and all she has to do is go like this. And it basically wakes them up from that sleep cycle. They then have to join a new sleep cycle, and I genuinely believe that's why we're having later wakes. So Spencer did it last night at 4:30 and she woke up at 6. Amazing. It's amazing. So going back to Oriavela, sorry, I've completely digressed, but I thought that would help. We did sleep train, but not sleep train in the sense of sleep training. The sleep training method that we used with Sleeping Bunnies is very, very, it's very holistic. It's very soft. It's not like leaving them to cry. It is very, very gentle. It's a very gentle approach. It's very much just about having stability, adjusting their wake windows, and Anna worked so amazingly with me, and Renalia got to such an amazing point, and up until literally about 2, she was doing that sleep pattern. She was doing a 2-hour nap in the day, and then she was doing 7 till 6. She was always an 11-hour girl. Obviously no nap now, so it does make the day longer, but I just think to myself, it's more time that I get with my girl. They're only young once. And sometimes during that nap time that she's dropped, we just have quiet time. We just cuddle on the sofa and watch a bit of like a Disney film, and it's so nice. So anyway, with Oriavela, we have not sleep trained. I will tell you like the tips of what we have done. I genuinely believe Oriavela was like a sleeper from the get-go though. She was good. She is a 99th centile baby. She wasn't born on the 9th centile. She was born like the 33rd centile. She obviously loves feeding. She obviously loves the boob because, yeah, Renalia went to the 99th centile as well. So lots of people were like, oh, she doesn't need all those feeds with weaning. But actually, that's what she wants. She still eats loads. She eats loads. Like for lunch there, she was eating for an hour. And we're like, shall we stop her? Like, she's just enjoying her food. She loves the sensory of it. She constantly eats. She'll tell us when she doesn't want any more. And, you know, baby-led weaning is completely baby-led. So, and I'm definitely breastfeeding on demand, but on a schedule. So that leads me on to, do you feed her to sleep? By the way, with all these questions at the end, I will tell you what we've done because I feel like it'd be easier. But did you sleep train? No, but I will tell you what we did at the end. Do you feed her to sleep? No, but again, I will tell you what we do at the end. How often does she wake in the night? She doesn't wake at all in the night. She hasn't woken in the night for, I don't know, 2 months, maybe since the age of 5 months. But I will, again, tell you all about that. But just quickly, going back to Oriavela, Renalia, I actually think that was what made it harder getting her into a rhythm and into a pattern, because I constantly fed her to sleep. And I've noticed such a difference with not feeding Oriavela to sleep that Oriavela doesn't go to bed with this reflux because I've just fed her and then I lie her down and she wakes up after one sleep cycle. Because Renalia would wake up bang on 40 minutes. Bang on 40 minutes, she was like, right, I'm awake. And then she'd have reflux and it'd make her feel gassy and sick. And now looking back on it, I think it's because, for me, the feeding to sleep with Renalia, because obviously the two girls do feed a lot, and I did have like a very fast letdown with Renalia. I had an oversupply. I think that the milk was spraying into her mouth at such pace and velocity that she was like drinking it because she loved it, but then also like going to bed completely full and feeling sick. Like, we wouldn't eat just before we go to sleep, would we? I know it's different for babies, but anyway, by the way, whatever I'm saying, if you feed to sleep, by the way, please, 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 I am so nervous about putting this bloody video out because I'm like, people are going to come for me. Do you know what? I don't really care if you come for me, because then you're not a very nice person, because we're all entitled to our own journeys and our own opinions. And I just want you to know that I'm not pushing my own agenda onto you, but I'm also not judging you for your own stories. Like, my life, my babies, how I parent my babies doesn't affect you, so don't let it offend you. There you go. I don't care whether anyone feeds their child to sleep until they're, I don't even know. Like, do whatever you've got to do as a mum. We all know it's hard. We've all got to get through it. But I'm just telling you, because loads of people ask me on Instagram all these questions. So yes, how has breastfeeding changed since introducing Solid? It hasn't. I thought it would. She really, really likes to feed after eating. She eats a big food, and then she does drink sips of water, only minimal amounts of sips of water, but she does have a bit of water in her sippy cup. But yeah, she just likes to feed still. She likes the milk. I don't know what to say about that. She just likes the milk. So she likes what she likes, and that is that. So yes, breastfeeding hasn't changed since introducing solids. If anything, no, nothing's changed. Because at 5 months she wasn't weaning, because we were worried that she had that tongue tie, and then she had loads of tension, so we went up to Carmel in London. Lots of people were asking me about weaning and how their child isn't able to swallow. That's why I went to Carmel before I started weaning Oriavella, because Renelia had a tongue tie that went undiagnosed. My 2.5-year-old had a tongue tie that went undiagnosed for 2.5 years. And whoa. What have I just fucking said? I had my 2.5-year-old had an undiagnosed tongue tie for 6 weeks, not 2.5 years, for 6 weeks. And eventually when I got it cut, it literally changed the game for feeding. It didn't hurt anymore. But with Oriavella, she did start wanting food really quite early. And you know, at about 5-ish months, she started like grabbing food. She was sitting up. We'd spoken to the doctor, we'd spoken to the paediatricians. We'd spoken to our health visitor, and because she was able, you know, sitting up and whatever and looking for the food, trying to grab it out of our mat, out of our hands, she was making noises for the food, she was rolling over, all the things that are the tick boxes, but also just understanding my child. We did try to start feeding her, weaning her, baby-led weaning, like just giving her a broccoli that was steamed, and she just couldn't swallow it. And then she was sort of spitting it out of her mouth. Her tongue wasn't coming out. And I was like, something's not right, baby. Something's not right, I said to my husband. And then we took her to see an osteo. And the osteo was like, I think she's tongue-tied. So then we went to the tongue-tie specialist who we see and who supported me throughout Renelia's childhood so far. And also now Oriavella's. And it's Carmel Gentle at the tongue-tie centre. The tongue-tie centre is in London. Carmel Gentle, she's amazing. She is amazing. She actually runs a donation clinic where it tries to bridge the gap between the NHS and private, because she understands that the tongue-tie situation is very expensive. So she offers a donation clinic on the weekends, I think it is, where you can donate whatever you can and your baby will get the support. She's amazing. She's phenomenal. She was on the ITV News recently, actually. She's really trying to spread awareness for tongue ties because they are so... But it's not just tongue ties. She spreads awareness for tongue ties that are falsely, because some people will get told that their child has a tongue tie and then it gets cut and it doesn't actually need to be cut. Like Oriavella looked like she had a tongue tie, but she just had severe amounts of tension where it had built up so much. The muscle looked like it was tied, but it wasn't. So we went there and we thought we were going to have to get it cut, and she actually just had loads of massage techniques. We've been left with the tongue exercises that we have to do. And Oriavella was a different baby after that. We're going actually in like 2 weeks to have another like checkup just while she's eating the foods and stuff, because her tongue doesn't really come out, but she's swallowing amazingly. She's eating incredibly. And I'm so glad we did that. So I will say, anyone that's worrying about weaning, I would definitely get your baby's mouth looked at. Not everyone has a tongue tie, of course, but there might be tension in their bodies from birth, like their neck. Like Oriavella's shoulders were like up here, and now her neck is like this. It's changed. Honestly, after I put shed before and afters on my Instagram story, people couldn't believe the before and after of Carmel, like what she did. She's absolutely revolutionary. So anyway, that's just my thing. I would always check their tongue. I would check their tension. I would take them to somewhere. I know it's expensive, but I really would take them to a cranial osteo. Search for tongue tie specialists in your area. The NHS, it's so sad. They do not have the funding for midwives to be trained on tongue ties. So many midwives have said it to me. They don't get the full training and whatever. And if you have a really amazing lactation consultant in your area from the NHS, then use, because there are the resources out there. Anyway, Did she take food straight away? Obviously not at 5 and a bit months, but 6 months, yes. After we had her tongue looked at, and we had to do these exercises like 3 times a day. She didn't love them, but we had to like roll her tongue up. We had to go in her cheeks and massage the gums and the cheeks in the inner lining. We had to push the tongue up. We had to have these different chew toys that she would chew and she would try and grasp, and it's changed the game. Does she always feed after breakfast? Will you drop this? I will drop this whenever she drops this. I am very much like, if she's asking for the milk, she's only 7 months, I'm not dropping it. I fed Renalia till she was 2. And I still think if I didn't have Oriavella, Renalia would have continued to feed. That's me being completely honest. But yes, I will just feed her. If it was affecting her eating, but then, listen, the nutrition that they get now is actually from milk. It's probably changed a little bit more now because she does eat a lot more at 7 months. But the nutrition is still, you know, she's getting an amazing amount of food. But also if she wants the milk and it's not suppressing her appetite, then sweet, you have the milk and you have the food. It's what she wants. She's not going to overeat herself and overfeed. She has her milk. She loves her milk. She's a chunky girl, so she has what she wants. So quickly, bottle, we used Tommee Tippee, Closer to Nature, I think it is. Spencer recently did a collaboration with them and they sent us a bottle, and that was a bottle she took, and it was the day that he filmed it, and it went amazingly. And we were like, oh my God, she takes the bottle. And that was after seeing Carmel. She took a bottle at the first, like, I think we gave her a bottle like 8 weeks or 6 weeks. 6 weeks maybe, she took a bottle, and then she only had about 3, and people say that you have to continuously keep up a bottle for them to be able to have that lift of their tongue. But because obviously she had a lot of tension, she couldn't. I was struggling with my right side. I struggled with Renalia and Oriavella with feeding my right, and it's obviously from where their neck is in birth. So yes, definitely getting that massaged out helped me so much. I feel like now she takes a bottle, but it's just a bit of a faff to express. So I have got stored stuff in the freezer. I need to start getting more milk and taking it off. But what I was doing was I was just taking every morning off the boobs. Like as soon as Oriavella's fed, I took the milk off those boobs, and it wasn't affecting my supply at all because I was only taking like a little bit off at a time. I wasn't doing a full feed, and then when Oriavella feeds that milk, I then take the full feed off, if that makes sense. Okay, so top tips, my top tips. Okay, we followed like a schedule. I know there's the Huckleberry app that does schedules. I think I saw someone speaking about that. We just took like a random schedule from, not a random schedule, but we looked online, found a schedule, and I guess I've kind of stuck to it as she's grown. Obviously, we've adjusted the schedule to her age appropriate needs. So the one thing I would say is we had no structure until she was 4 months. I didn't want to do anything with her properly. I let her completely sleep on me. I let her do everything she needed. I did all the contact naps. And you know, now if she wasn't feeling very well, I would still have a contact nap. Like, I'm not going to suppress my desire as a mother and my feel as a mother, but I will also make sure that, you know, she's getting her good amount of sleep for her. So yes, the best thing, this is my, please don't take my word as gospel. Please don't, yeah, I'm just going to tell you what I feel like my top tip is. My top tip is 100% that I fed Oriavella on a schedule. I feed her when she wakes up. I then feed her about 1 hour and 15 after she's woken. And then she has a good amount of like 45 minutes before she goes to sleep with no milk. And let me tell you, I think that's the game changer. She doesn't go to bed. She goes to bed full, but she doesn't go to bed. She goes to bed satisfied, but she doesn't go to bed. I haven't had any of my smoothie. Oh my God. She goes to bed satisfied, but she doesn't go to bed full. And it has helped me so much. It's helped me so much because I know that she gets her right amount of milk, whether you do that with a bottle, boob, whatever you've got to do. Yeah, I would definitely look into a schedule. I don't want to sound like that mum, but that is what helped us. After 4 and a bit months, after like the 4-month sleep regression, I would say we're in a bit of a regression now because she's like rolling all around the cot and like really trying to move. So I feel like at the moment, you know, sometimes she's in the night, like last night she was just up, just on her own, but we weren't going to go into her because she was chilling and she wasn't upset in the slightest, but she was just awake because she's obviously, you know, doing whatever she's got to do. She's learning, she's growing, she's loving it. And for us, the self-settle method, right? I'm going to annoy everyone. I wish I'd bought like a dolly, but I got anything in here that looks, no, I've got a shoe. Going to take my little girl's shoe. So this is their little head. This is their body. From 4 months, what we would do is she would be on a feeding schedule. Then we put her in the bed and I'd hold the back of her head and let's roll her here. So her head's here. Oh, I don't know how to do it. Yeah. I'd hold her head like this and I'd pat her bum to sleep like this. And I do like, not obviously hurting her, but I do them quite like that. And I'd go in her ear so loudly because she loved it. Shh. Shh. Sorry if this is so annoying. But yeah, I'd hold her like that. And then as she got older, I'd progressively stop patting her to sleep. So I'd go shh, and then she'd murmur a bit, and then I'd go shh. And then at about 5 to 6 months, I started just going in there, patting her until she was drowsy, and then she'd fall asleep. Then I started going in there and patting her until she was still awake and then she'd fall asleep. I cannot express how much that's helped me, that method. I know it sounds weird. I'd roll her over, I'd put her in a sleep bag, I'd give her all the sleepy cues, roll her in a sleep bag, shut the curtains, make sure it's all dark, put the white noise on, the shushing. I got the white noise machine from Amazon, I can link it. But my babies both loved the shushing. So it must be what my womb sounds like because they love the shh, shh. So I did that so loud in her ear, even with the white noise, and she loved it. And then I'd pat her like this. And again, like I said, I'd pat her bum, and I'd move her with it. So like not only with patting, I'd also rock the next to me crib and she would just start going like this. Then again, as I said, as she got older, I would just start taking my hand away a bit more and then she'd cry a bit and then I'd take my hand away. And then let's say I left the room and she started crying, I'd wait like a minute. If it got heightened, which it did, I would go back in and then I'd pat, shh, and then I'd come back out. And then, yeah, honestly, that's all I did. And she now self-settles. She goes to sleep. I put her in the crib, completely awake. I say, good night, girlie. Sleepy time. I love you. I love you, good girl. Sweet dreams. God bless. And then I say, sleepy time. Sleepy time. That's her sleep cue. I give her her little comforter and then I go off. And I do that exactly the same thing, like if she's in the pram, but normally the motion like sets her off, doesn't it? Like she normally's gone from the motion. But yeah, I don't think that's revolutionary. But feeding on a schedule, sorry if that's really annoying and tedious, but it's helped me so much. It also gave me stability with my big girl because it made me have some time to be like, okay, I know I'm going to be feeding at this time. I can set an activity up for Renalia and then I can be with Renalia because I'll put Oriavella in the sling or Oriavella will go for a sleep. So I feel like having some sort of routine really helped, especially having two. My big girl's the one that keeps me up. My baby's the one that sleeps through. But again, different temperaments, different children. Loved them both, would never change an inch of their soul and their being. But yeah, that's all we did differently. And we had a feeding routine and I genuinely think that was the thing that saved me. Just, yeah, knowing that they get their milk, they get their stuff. And even now, like we feed at a certain time, it's just helped so much. And when she drops the feeds, she'll drop them herself. I know she will. And when we go through regressions, I'll see it out and just be strong with it and stable with it. And if I have to go back to patting her and shushing her, but I really believe that she just self-settles and she's got it. And, you know, that isn't anything to do with me. For me, my own perspective, I think that the structure helped. And I'm not a structured person. I'm not super organised, but it has just helped. I genuinely believe because of her stomach. She's never had reflux. She never had anything like that. And yes, okay, Renalia had a tongue tie, so it probably gave her the reflux as well. But I just know that I was overfeeding her to sleep. And then she only was able to suckle to sleep. And I was like, oh no. And I did that with Oriavella at the very beginning for 4 months. You know, I fed her to sleep. We co-slept a bit safely. We co-slept. We did what we had to do. She would wake every hour, 2 hours, and sometimes she'd go like big stints. And I remember saying to the health visitor, like, she slept for 6 hours last night, and I kept trying to wake her, but she was just in such a deep sleep. And they were like, listen, she's gaining weight. absolutely fine. You do not need to worry about it. I bought my own set of scales because then I could monitor what she was doing with her weight. I bought that for Analia because it's so much easier, especially when you're breastfeeding. You don't know, you know that they're getting bigger, but you just want to know. And then I knew that I didn't have to wake her up because she was still in her centile. She was still loving life. So yes, I really hope that's helped. I'm sorry if it's such a ramble. Let me know what you think. If you want me to do more, I can literally show you with a doll if you want me to do another video and talk about sleep stuff. And I can really go in depth and show you like in her crib. But I don't think it's going to be the biggest deal to anyone. But if you want me to show you different methods of that, then yeah. And I love you guys so much. And until next time, I'm going to love you and leave you. Bye, I love you. I've got a vlog in the next weekend. So next Saturday, yes, make sure you stay tuned and subscribe. Love you. Bye.